some power lines, and you, Delilah, you're not real.
Henry, think about her. If what happened to her were happening to you, you wouldn't even be able to realize it.
Okay?
Henry, sweetie, I am real and this is happening. I'm as real as the sky is blue. Take a second and then call me back. I'm on your side.
Okay, I'm all right. I'm headed towards the site.
Good. Keep your head up. Hey, I just thought of something not great.
What is it?
I filed a report that said that neither of us ever talked to or saw those girls, the ones that went missing a few weeks back.
Oh, shit.
My thoughts exactly.
Our radios were tapped. And now someone probably has a transcript of that entire conversation.
And I've filed a report that's a blatant lie.
Oh, and those girls are still missing.
Yep.
Fuck, Delilah.
Fuck indeed. We really need to get to the bottom of this.
Hey, it's Jake again.
And Chris.
And Sean.
Hey, everyone.
And we had a design
Hey,
for
guys.
this tape, but I don't remember what it was.
Well, then you're
Anybody?
completely in the spirit of our stupid design process.
Ah, yes, that's what this tape is about, the design process for Firewatch.
It's really bad to admit this, like, on a recording that we're
But you
releasing.
purchased this
But
game,
you already,
so
and
you're
if
inside.
And if you played this, you already completed it, so you know that we nonetheless finished a game. One of the big things that we constantly ran into on the design side on this game was, okay, how do we reconcile this like linear story that needs to be told with something that is allows some degree of player exploration and choice and like a big world that we tried hard to not just like hard gate absolutely everywhere. But that meant we had to come up with a lot of just weird creative solutions to why you had to go to a certain place or why you couldn't go to this place. And frequently we would forget what those
We'd forget
were.
why it happened. For instance, the commentary Firewatch audio tour document says that this node should lie on day 15, and I'm sure that we had a really hilarious and apropos reason for why this remark should happen on day 15.
Oh, we had a very, very great, very strong design idea for day 15 that tied a bunch of stuff together that didn't get written down coming out of a meeting and was lost to the...
Oh, and we all laughed about it when we
recesses of our
sat down
brain.
to record this commentary node, and it's perfect that this is on day 15. So I'm sure you as a player, this is like the most perfectly timed conversation or moment in the commentary to hear about this, but we don't know why that is.
But because like content games like Firewatch are designed around ideas and sort of loose concepts oftentimes, as opposed to systems with hard rules, it's easy to forget the decisions you made, and then when you do, you agonize over the perfect solution you kind of remember having for days until you finally just let it go and move on and come up with something else.
You have to
yeah.
You have to trust that if you blow it up and come up with something else, it will probably be functionally about as good as the reason that you forgot.
I mean, I think there are probably parts in this game that we redesigned 3 times, and I think what ended up happening was we sort of internalized all of the requirements of each of those particular things so often that it gave us a better understanding of the whole game, which is maybe just a horrible justification for
We got very
us
good at
being
anatomy
bad.
by reopening up our patient over and over and
Right.
over again
Right.
and looking at
That's
his
exactly
insides.
correct, yeah. Yep.
Yes.
So enjoy the result of our stupid labor.
Man, I bet people won't even be on day 15 when they hear this in the final commentary. Hi, Jake here.
It's Ollie.
So I guess we're going to talk about Crime by the Numbers, a crime series.
Yeah, I think this came from the desire to make a very video gamey sort of collectible series. That's something that you could collect across the course of the game, and also my desire to just design book covers because I wanted to.
Yeah, I think that you did a first batch of book covers, and it was Steven's Room and the J. Allard self-help
Birds
book,
of
and
Wyoming
Birds of Wyoming, and it had Death Strikes at 2, and we all decided as a group in a stupid loud meeting that took up the whole office that it would be hilarious if this was in fact one of like the Sue Crafton alphabet murders or the
Dick Francis
yeah,
horse racing
every single one is
series.
about a jockey
Yeah.
who is killed.
Well, we thought that our idea for a series was somewhat like ridiculous, but then realized that Dick Francis had written over 40 crime stories about horse racing. So
yeah, and it seems like just between office conversations and long walks home from the office, we came up with all 10 of these, and then you drew them.
yes, that's exactly how
The
it
end.
happened.
The
Yeah, but people seem to like them. We've seen people trying to collect all of them across the course of the game.
You get no achievement for collecting all of them.
Sadly.
Yeah, because we're jerks.
This is Jared Emerson Johnson from Bay Area Sound, and I did a lot of the sound design for the game under Chris's supervision.
And it's Chris again.
So we just want to talk a little bit about the Foley and the interactive elements of the sound design for the game. For the most part, I would say like 95% of the time we're recording all of that originally for the game, rather than relying on library sounds and stuff, which, you know, often is the case.
Yeah, and we actually started off using a lot more library sounds, and we ended up redoing almost all of those of that implementation because, Jared, I'm curious to know how you felt about this, but I just felt that that stuff was too big and punchy for this game. You know, we were telling a game that was so much about this human scale drama and in some cases ambiguity, and then also just very naturalistic in how the wilderness was presented, that it seemed almost like putting too fine a point on it to have sort of traditionally big and punchy Foley and sound effects behind it.
Right, yeah. We'd call it gamey sound design, which is usually a little bit larger than life and big. And you know, sometimes that's important because the player needs the feedback of
when you get punched out by Goodwin. There's a couple moments of like that big outrageous sound design when it's really called for.
For this, yeah, we went really subtle on a lot of it. You know, you still get the feedback, you still get that feeling like you're actually in the space and interacting with it, but it's a little more subtle, a little more tailored. And honestly, like when you have an opportunity to record live Foley, it always ends up being better than a library sound. You know, even in the big gamey games.
Oh, sure.
And so yeah, for all that, we just went out and, you know, either went out to a fence and recorded a fence, or you know, I got out my backpack and just spent several hours just getting every kind of little rustle and clank of the carabiner. I think you gave me like
hundreds of different
yeah. Well, and you know,
of
course you're not going to use all of them, but you know, you need to be able to find exactly
I sifted
the right.
through every single one and found the ones that matched the animation like as closely as I possibly could. It was
what really mattered to me as I was playing the game and we were talking back and forth was really making it, you know, when you are interacting with something in the game, when you're moving a fence or opening a door, entering a new space, that it really feel like you're there, because so much of the game is just walking around and talking. So when you actually get a chance to pick something up or interact with it, I wanted it to feel kind of special.
As development of the game went on and it became clear that sound effects and ambience were going to have to do so much of the heavy lifting, it was incredibly intimidating for me as a first-time audio director, but I'm ultimately actually really grateful for that because it was just so intrinsic to the game and had such a big impact on the overall experience.
Yeah, and honestly, with every new game, there's a certain amount of kind of reinventing that needs to happen because you have to, you know, you just have to keep playing the game, put the sounds in. Okay, these ones work, these ones don't work, play the game again. You know, we probably did that, I don't know, like 20, 30 times over the course of the production. Just, okay, this is working. Oh, no, this has changed, so now we need a new thing. And that's how you make a thing that feels good in the end, so.
There you go.
I'm busting the gate down. There's nobody around, and it's the quickest way in.
Copy that.
Smashed open the gate. Should I try to fix or hide this?
No, screw it.
Okay, then. Whoa! Ow! got stung by a bee.
Okay. Is that it?
Yeah.
Did it hurt?
Yes, kind of.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm at the site. I don't see anybody around.
Lucky for us.
Yeah, lucky for us. Dee, there's some serious comms equipment out here, wireless stuff.
What do you mean?
I'm talking a big 20-foot tall transmission tower, and they could probably listen to whoever the hell they want. They're nestled down in this valley, which makes it impossible for you or any lookout to see them.
Hey, Jake.
Hey, Chris.
So over the course of Firewatch's development, we, I think, swung back and forth pretty wildly in terms of how much we wanted to play up the conspiracy part of the story and how explicit we wanted to make Goodwin's involvement and how much we wanted the player to buy into it versus how much we wanted the player to think this was sort of all in Henry's head or played up between Henry and Delilah.
Mm-hmm.
And the research site was really the moment in the game where
There's definitive proof something is happening, whatever
Yeah.
it is.
we obviously knew as the developers of the game that the reality of the situation was a little bit sadder and more mundane. I think we kind of wanted there to be this big moment that suggests, oh, maybe this is something really huge.
Yeah,
I think
it's
we
funny.
got carried away a little bit.
Yeah, I think
arguably.
we arguably / probably did. And thinking back to it now, the reason that the typed reports came into the story at all, as you said about the pendulum going back and forth, I think we didn't like the story being 100% ambiguous. I don't know if we knew that we could support a world where Henry and the player and Delilah 100% construct a reality that doesn't have a single shred of proof. And we're like, okay, well, we got excited about maybe it's the 70s conspiracy moment of like, you know, you're in a room full of whirring machines.
I think we on the team kind of hyped ourselves up in the same way Henry and Delilah do. I mean, I remember when I first the first draft of the music that you're hearing right now. I showed it to you only, I think, because I felt too stupid to show it to anyone else because I'm like, this is so ridiculous. We can't put this in our game.
Well, the one when
and you were like, oh, maybe we should put it in our
I
game.
don't know. Henry's going nuts. Everyone's going nuts.
It's true. We're all going nuts.
Maybe it could have been pulled back a little bit on all fronts from what you're observing right now, but maybe it's the best. Maybe it's for the best.
Could be.
Now they're doing something with the soil out here too. It's all gridded off.
Who knows what else they're up to?
And there's all sorts of contraptions and shit out here.
Like what?
Dishes and stuff on metal legs. There are wires all over the place. I don't know. I'm not really up on high tech. I mean, how the hell did they get all this stuff out here?
The Army Corps of Engineers put our towers out here, so
You think it was the government?
I have no idea. I just mean it's possible. I mean, every once in a while I'll need a lookout who's deep into that, like, black helicopter conspiracy shit. Maybe they actually flew it out here in one of those.
Hi, this is Jane. I'm back again, and now I'm here with...
Will Nunes, I was a prop artist.
And this is one of the few areas in Firewatch where it's not just about trees and rocks. So we wanted to make sure that this area feels very man-made, and that is spooky and is ambiguous. Like, the goal here is that you're gonna get here and you're not quite sure if this is like a surveillance operation or if it's scientific, and that's kind of what I told Will when we were trying to make a lot of props, and Will was really great about it. And I was just like, hey Will, can you please just make a bunch of boring scientific equipment?
Yeah, I mean, we were actually just looking up a lot of stuff, like, stuff that monitored, thermal energy and stuff like that, like very, very standard kind of scientific equipment, but arranged in kind of a sense that made it look kind of a little more eerie and a little more cluttered and haphazard and not really definable from someone that didn't really understand what this equipment was.
Yeah, I think if you actually look up each prop, that they actually are real, like, equipment, right?
Yes, I used reference from the late 80s for all this equipment. They're all real equipment that people use to, monitor the wind or environment, stuff like that.
Is there like a favorite piece of prop in this tent, Will?
I would say the equipment. Just it's really simple, but I had a lot of fun making it and kind of seeing the layout and kind of trying to convey this kind of eerie looking equipment, doing something you're not quite sure what it's about, ambiguously, technical, and seeing where I could take it and seeing kind of, with the colors and the mood and how that would all fit together and how to set that scene right.
I'm in their main tent.
What's it like?
It's definitely some sort of monitoring station. I wonder where they are. All of their stuff is here.
And they know you're there, so see what you can find and get out.
I think I found the thing they used to track us.
Holy shit.
You swear, like, a lot.
Not the time, Hank.
Anyway, it's called a wave receiver. Looks like it picks up anything that emits a signal. It's got basic orienteering capabilities, everything. Holy
shit, Henry.
Yeah, holy shit. They keep this wave receiver thing in a crate. It looks like their prized piece of equipment.
Well, it's ours now.
Okay, this thing is losing its mind, beeping like crazy.
I can hear it. What's it after?
I don't know. I'm gonna go find out. This place sleeps 3. They've got a row of cots here.
I want to know what that thing finds. Look, you should get out before they come back.
I found their main monitoring desk.
You should get out before they come back.
They're measuring the barometric pressure, too. Why?
Maybe it's just a diversion.
I mean, this stuff looks like it just got lifted out of the space shuttle.
I have to tell you, if I found out this was NASA, I'd be a hell of a lot happier.
Okay, shit. Got another clipboard here that confirms that they're tracking our movements. The log they've got tracks the movement of 4 subjects.
You and me?
Yeah, definitely me. And I suppose you too.
What about the other 2?
Maybe the missing girls?
Like, they're still out here and these people are following them?
Maybe. It's possible, right?
But then why haven't you seen them?
I don't know.
We'll talk this over and figure out how to get the hell out of here.
They've got a map with all sorts of paths and areas marked out on it. There are lines that look like some of the paths I normally take.
Are you positive it's you?
Some of their descriptions seem like uncharitable ways of describing me, yeah. There's a box here with a dial. It has a needle, like it measures earthquakes.
You mean like a lie detector?
Yeah, I'm not sticking around to get hooked up to it. I think this thing is responding to something in this pile of crap on the desk.
Dig through it.
Are you shitting me?
What? What is it?
There's a folder of reports here.
What do they say?
They're assessments about the two of us. There's stuff in here about Julia.
Like what?
Stuff I didn't tell you. This is...
What does it say about me? You said there was one about me.
And it looks like they've been following me around. What I do when I'm out hiking? Jesus.
Henry, do you hear me?
It says that you and your boyfriend are still together.
What? We're not. They're messing with us.
Yeah, okay.
They are. How do they even know who he is? How the hell does this... I'm so sick of letting these people do this to us. We should just burn the place down. Think about it.
Delilah,
What? Think about it.
I am, and I think it's insane.
They'd be fucked.
Yeah, and how about if that fire comes up the mountain? Or someone were to die in it?
We call it in?
We call it in?
Yeah. Maybe.
My God, Delilah, no. No way.
Well, maybe it's not the best idea.
Yeah, it's definitely not the best idea.
I'm so fucking wound up.
It's all right. I'm just gonna hike back. We have the wave receiver, and tomorrow we can figure out what to do. Whoa! Oh, shit! Delilah, there's smoke coming from the site. I just climbed out of there and the bridge collapsed.
What the hell happened to you? It's definitely not the best idea.
It wasn't me.
What do we do?
We just call it in like any other fire.
And what about who started it? What about them?
The person who started it?
Yeah.
We're talking about people watching us out here who are now burning the forest and everything in it around us. I don't know what to do about that.
Except get the hell out.
Yes, get us the hell out of here.
I will.
This receiver just picked something up.
Like a signal? It's going beep beep.
Yeah, what could it be?
I don't know. You gotta find out.
All right, I'm on my way now.
You know what I just picked up?
No.
A fifth of Major Bueno tequila from the creek.
Are you drunk?
No! I am getting drunk.
Good plan.
I'm a good planner. My thinking is I could stay up all night worried I'm gonna lose my job because of the side fire, or I could not worry and let the chips fall where they may. It's not like there's any proof we were down there.
My thinking is I'm gonna follow this wave receiver.
Ooh, I like it when you think.
Ay, ay, ay. I'll just leave you alone with whatever these thoughts are.
And here we are, I'm Nels, once again, and we're talking to Jake about Henry's crazy conspiracy board.
Yes, it's conspiracy board time.
This first appears after you go to the research site and discover a bunch of crazy stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what did you actually want the player to be thinking about when this thing just kind of shows up?
We wanted the idea that Henry had stayed up all night. Just when you get to the research site and you start feeling like maybe this conspiracy exists, when you think maybe there is a conspiracy, we wanted to take all of the pickups that you'd sort of been idly grabbing throughout the game, all the sort of documents and notes, and then putting them up on the board, as if Henry stayed up all night trying to find connections between things. There are very few, but we wanted to sort of represent to the player all the stuff that you have been doing, and now that you know that there is in fact someone out there listening to you and watching you, do you want to reassess all the things you've been picking up in a new light? Also, it just gives a nice aesthetic change to the tower, right? It just fills the room up with a bunch of garbage and makes Henry look like maybe he's going a little nuts.
Early in the game, we kind of had this, way when we were barely past prototyping, we kind of had this notion that you'd find stuff out in the world and you could basically pick up and keep almost anything. Mm-hmm. And then all this stuff you found would have this home in your tower. And we kind of for a variety of reasons, kind of carved back on that idea a little bit, but it ended up instead kind of becoming this, right?
Yeah, because the only thing you can really reliably keep in Firewatch in the shipping version and that has a UI associated with it is notes and documentation. Those go into the notes screen, you can read them there, and then it seemed like having all of that stuff sort of barf back out of the inventory into the world all at once when your perspective on the story changes was a cool way to handle that. It was also a way to remind people of all of the things that were out in the world that they had found, to remind them of missing people flyers, to remind them that they'd found a little bit of stuff from the Goodwins, to remind them about Ron and Dave and about the research site. You could always, at the start of days, at the end of the game, go and refer to all of the written sort of evidence that the story had left behind so far.
Yeah, not only does a whole bunch of stuff that you optionally pick up show up here, but even after the board shows up the first time, still things that you find on the night of day 77 and day 78 also get added in here. So it even continues to get bigger as the days move on, even after it first shows up, right?
Yep. And then he goes home and is sad.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, Chris.
So I love this little bit of writing and acting here where Delilah is drunk.
I
It's
too love it
adorable.
now. I love it now. Yeah. There was a big rewrite at one point. This scene was originally Delilah was just sort of in hunker down mode. Don't go outside. We're gonna let all this blow over, and that's exactly what we don't want you to do. And you have a good relationship with her. At least you have some warmth to her, perhaps. and it just didn't really work as written and as recorded. So just sort of had the idea, got to the point where it's like, well, I want to change that, and the first idea was, and she's drunk. And I'd always thought that Delilah probably overindulged. I don't think she's an alcoholic or anything.
Sure.
But neither is Henry. But they both drink and have, probably had drunken nights that they really, really regret. Being able to bring that into the game just felt completely correct. But then recording it was so tough. Sissy Jones landed in just a perfect place. But when you write, your character is drunk, you get a lot of you get a lot of hiccupy, hobo. And we just sort of, you sit down and you just take 5 and you talk about it and you just kind of go
get her drunk.
Yeah, get her loaded and go on. No, we spent probably a good half an hour, maybe an hour, just coming at the drunk lines from different angles.
Yeah.
And then, it snaps in your headphones in real time in a way that then produces the feeling that you're talking about, Chris, which is like, oh, I love this. It's cute and correct and right and feels real and just does all the things it needs to do. But it makes me laugh. But Sissy nailed it.
And as a note, this is one of, I think, only 2 remaining parts in the game on the design side that are the survivors of a previous design where Delilah would reach certain thresholds where she would just cut you out of radio contact.
Yes.
And we kept 2 of them for sort of narrative reasons.
Hi there, it's Jake. I'm talking with Nels, and we are going to get into the wave receiver. I believe it is the Anderson wave receiver, in fact.
Oh, absolutely, Anderson brand.
Do you remember even where the wave receiver came from in Firewatch? I'm going to back up because I know where the wave receiver actually came from, which is in the game Far Cry 2, you can hunt for diamonds using a little beepy handheld device that works basically like the wave receiver.
Correct.
But I can't remember what made us think that it was right for this game.
So it was primarily a functional thing where we realized that a lot of the kind of A to B to C structure of the game was basically Delilah saying, hey, Henry, you should go here. Oh, you're there. Now you should go here. And we wanted to have some other object element thing.
Yep, a thing that could lead you somewhere, but neither Henry or Delilah would know where you're going.
Yeah, and then it was like, oh, well, what about that diamond thing from Far Cry 2?
We already have the map
Perfect.
from Far Cry 2. We should obviously also have the diamond hunting mechanic.
Correct, obviously. And then it was just kind of, as soon as the first prototype was in there, I was like, oh yeah, that will work and totally be good. So we can just make that increasingly real until we had an actual artifact in the world that you could, like, wiggle around in your hand.
Oh, I miss the prototype version of the wave receiver in the gym because that was our, like, YouTube streamer friendly horror game version where once you sort of got closer and closer to the object, it was revealed to be a Forrest Burns standee that had come to life and was charging at you at high speed. Like that.
Yeah, that was also my favorite.
That was good. I feel like the real in-game wave receiver could never deliver on the full potential of the maniacal, self-propelling Forrest Burns, like screaming at you like a Serious Sam enemy or something. At least that was my imagined canonical Forrest Burns wave receiver sound was that.
That is actually exactly what it was. I took that sound off of
Oh, good. It was
from
that.
Serious Sam and put it in. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah.
So that's how we got a wave receiver.